So, as Phil said, I'm co-founder of Joomla. I'm currently working as an accessibility consultant and also a Joomla trainer. And probably the one thing most people know about me is I have opinions, lots of them. So I have a set of 6 rules that are going to govern this presentation. The first one is that I want speed. Everything that I do on my websites, I want it to be fast. There's been lots of sessions about that already, and we'll come on to it again. As you may have gathered, accessibility matters. This is really, really important. I can't stress it enough. Accessibility, it's the one thing that everybody will have at some point in their life is an issue with accessibility. I try wherever I can to avoid using extensions. Now that's not always possible, but where it is, I absolutely avoid it because there's so much that you can achieve just using what. So if you're avoiding extensions as much as possible, it's so much easier to keep everything up to date. And we all know that an up-to-date website is just better. So I've said about that I disagree with everyone, and the final point is that Brian always gets the last word. I'm also incredibly lazy, and my aim in life is to do less and achieve more. And the way you do that is by knowing your tools, because when you do that, the better you know your tools, the better you will work and the more efficient you will work. So I'm going to share with you in this presentation some secrets for content creators, developers and designers, social media influencers, administrators and site builders. So I'm also going to flag them up because some of these are new in Joomla 4. Some of them are just improved in Joomla 4. And some of them are just Brian says to do it. And if Brian says to do it, you should do it. And one of my heroes, Groucho Marx, says, learn from the mistakes of others. And you can never live long enough to make them all yourself. So the first one is, how many times have you actually worked on your site and it didn't work? The changes you made didn't appear. And after a while, sometimes far too long, you realized you're working on the test site, not the live site, or vice versa. So one little thing that I do is I go into my templates for the administrator and I make some changes. So this is the Joomla 4, the Atom template. And if you scroll down, you've got a brand logo. And I create my own brand logo. I said Brian's test sites. I'll tell you what, I'm going to change the colors as the top color as well. So just set that. And you should see now we've got the logo there. And we can see that the logo is going to do everything. The logo and the branding and the color scheme, that's going to make sure that we're always looking at exactly the right site. Now, you saw very quickly that the Joomla 4 dashboard looks very different. And by default, you've got all these things on the screen, and they're all actually modules. But not only that, this one, and this one are actually the same module. They're just with different options. But of course, we can customize this to actually make it correct for ourselves, because it's a very, very long list. And a lot of that's just not going to be relevant to you. So what you can do, first of all, let's have a look at these special ones across the top. So you can just click on that icon, edit, and here we can see it. And you can see there's lots of different ones. So some of them are set to hide because they're set to show in the other option. And if I go to the articles, you can see I can also set it to show with the counts. And because I'm just building this site, I set the menu items to show. I'm going to set template code to show as well. And you can see now it's changed. And we can see we've got the articles and the number of articles. So the other thing you've got here is if you click on the big box, it takes you straight to the components. Great. But if you click on the plus, it takes you straight to a new item, in this case, a new user. Also, makes life really easy. Now, we've got here some other modules that I probably don't want. So sample data I don't need, so I'm just going to unpublish it. Privacy dashboard. Oh, no, latest actions. Not sure. Yeah, I'll get rid of that one as well. Popular articles, I'm going to get rid of that. Site info, I don't need that. What else? Dashboard. And there's only ever going to be me logging in on this site. But I can actually add something new. So I'm going to add another article. And this time I'm going to call it latest articles, but I'm going to call it my articles. And what I'm going to do is set the author to me. So this is so now you can see the my articles module is showing just the articles I've created. Obviously, if Phil logged in or somebody else logged in, it's only going to show the articles they created. So that makes life a lot easier. You can see the last things you were working on without having to dig through the website looking for stuff. Now, this is possibly my favorite feature of all. It exists in Joomla 3, it exists in Joomla 2 and Joomla 1, but it was almost impossible to use. And hopefully this gets accepted and merged into Joomla 4, and it's content templates. So what is content templates? Well, let's just go into an article. And we can see, I bet you've never always wondered what that little stamp does. It's also accessible here. Insert template. Now, this is not your site template. This is content templates. So you can see I've got a wide variety here. I can choose also different ones. So this is snippet zoom. This is something that I've had to do a lot on one of my websites recently. Now that it's inserted in the content, all I have to do is just go and update the zoom link. It makes it very quick, very easy, and importantly, makes it consistent across the site. It also means that I can actually do some really complex layouts and save those. So how do you do that? Well, let's go back to the dashboard and we'll go into the templates. And this is our site templates. So what we do is we go into the HTML folder of the template, and there's a new folder there called TinyMCE, and inside there we can create a new file. So just make sure we're in that right folder. And I've been giving them names like layouts and snippets and things like that, just so that I can separate the ones that are little bits of code and which ones are complete pages, and then you give it a text file type. Now we've got the HTML, the code mirror editor, and we can put in whatever code we want. So I'm just going to do, let's just do a very quick list. Yeah, sorry, I'm not typing the fastest today. So you can put markup in here, you can put HTML, you can just put text, whatever you want, save and close. If we close that down now and go back to articles and click new, when we go to insert a template, we should see now in the preview there, layout JoomlaDay. That's the one we want, and we just save it and it gets inserted into the content. So really nice, simple and quick, but really, really powerful. You can do some amazingly complex pages and pre-save them. And because you've saved them, it makes life so much easier to get consistent content across all parts of your site. Now, you might have noticed in there, the TinyMCE Toolbar looked a little bit different. By default now, it looks just like this. So there's just one row. But at the end, there are 3 dots. And that's because it now slides. So if you click on the 3 dots, they just slide in and then they slide away. Just a bit cleaner. Of course, you can, if you want, go back and choose the wrap setting, and it goes back to displaying them all at once. Now, there are a few other options, but I think you'll find when you play around with them that you really don't want them. And again, custom toolbars in TinyMCE. It's been improved a bit in Joomla 4, but I'm actually always surprised how few people actually know about this. So let me just repeat it again. If you go into the TinyMCE plugin, you are able to completely customize the toolbar. Now, this is the gotcha. There are multiple sets, and each set is for different groups of users. So quite often people are on the wrong set when they're trying to customize it. And you can see I can just drag and drop things away because I'm never going to use those. I'm definitely never going to give text a color or a highlight background. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can just clear it and just drag them in fresh. You can drag them from the toolbar, the drop-down toolbar as well. You're just having now the icons, the functions in the toolbar that you want to have, exactly how you want it. If you've made a mistake, you don't like it, clear it, and you can choose one of the 3 presets that already exist, and life's great. Now, forgetting your password. I've split this one up into 2 parts because there's 2 different things in here. So the first part is, this is Joomla 4 with the default template Cassiopeia and the blog sample data installed. And if I go to log in, so I have to, on the front page, I scroll right down and there it is, but I've forgotten my password. So click again, and what happens? I've got to scroll all the way back down again. And the same for forget your username. Now, lots of times I'm getting people who are saying to me, I'm doing this, nothing happens, because they don't expect to have to scroll down. They think they're on the same page. So this is super simple to solve. First of all, go to your menu and create a new menu item. I'm going to call this one Forgot Password. And then select, and you want a users menu. And there we should see password resets. So if we select that, okay, looking good so far. Now, this is the secret. If you scroll down, the very last option on link type is display in menu. And I'm going to set that to no. Just save and close. And and you can see there that it's showing that it's hidden. So I've not created a hidden menu, which was the old way of doing things. It's all in the same menu. I'm now doing the username. And you can see all looking good. Username reminder request. I'll do exactly the same thing again. I'm going to put in the display in menu as hidden. Confirm it there. Now, go to the front end of the site, scroll down, and now when I hit forget your password, it's gone just to the page with the modules that I want to be displayed on. So you're displaying modules on this page just like any other menu item, but it's not going to confuse your users. And as a bonus, you can actually get some nice URLs from it. So in this case, you can see it's forgot password and forgot username. So that's really good. And this is one of the #1 questions on the forum. You know, people saying, I'm clicking on these buttons and nothing's happening. And it is, they just haven't scrolled down past the huge banners. So this gets around that problem. Now, there's a second part to forgetting your password. I'm calling this one number 7.5, or part 2. So this is what the password reset request email looks like. And it's a plain text email. It's functional, but it's certainly not pretty. Now, if you were using GoDaddy, this is there. So it's branded with their logo. It's got some links in it. also, and the useful information, but it's all formatted properly. This one from Lingo, they've got icons, they've got images, they've got a big button, none of these links with huge long strings of characters. So can we do that in Joomla? Well, in Joomla 4 we can. In Joomla 4 we can create now custom emails. So if you go to the system dashboard, you will find an option called mail templates. Here it is. If I click on that, we can see we've now got, these are all the emails that your site can send. Bet you didn't know there was that many. So I'm just going to find the password one. There it is. So click on that, and we can see this is the boring default, and we can just delete it all, and let's do something a bit better. So there we are. I've already got a heading in. It's already looking nice at some HTML, and you can see we can insert some placeholders that will automatically insert, in this case, the link. Right, let's just change the subject as well. Oops, you did it again, because isn't it always the same people that forget their password? And let's put an image in. I'll just drag that in and drop it, and give it an image description and alt text. Remember, you never need to use the word image in these. So there is password. Oh, it's looking good. And save that and close. And so now you're actually going to get that much nicer HTML formatted email instead of that really boring text only email. So you can maintain branding throughout your site. Designers are going to love this. But it's not just designers who are going to benefit from some new features. So a lot of developers now, we've got used to using Markdown as a format for formatting our text. If you don't know what Markdown is, it's what's used on GitHub for nice formatting there. So again, this is just an option in TinyMCE, and it's about halfway down, I think. Again, make sure you're in the right set, the one for your user group. And there it's Markdown. It's off by default. We're going to turn it on. And now if we go to create a new article, you can use Markdown syntax. So that means doubled hashes will be heading level 2. Triple dashes will be heading level 3. And then you can also do lists as well, which is just dash. List item, dash, list item. And you can see it's formatting it exactly as I'm typing.
That's all hit
enter,
green, Brian.
The next bit, and 4 hashes is heading level 4.
Brian, can you move
now,
it over?
The really clever bit is what gets saved. You can see there, that is not Markdown, that is regular HTML. So it's fine. You can have some people using Markdown, some people using HTML, some people using the WYSIWYG editor. It's all fine. They all work together. TinyMCE's also got a load of shortcuts that you can use. These are enabled by default, and if you highlight some text, you get contextual links. So here we've got in bold and italic. When I'm in a table, I can just create a new column, sorry. Let's give that a title of the time. We'll put some, highlight those and bold. And what else can we do? Oh yes, it shouldn't really be bold because it should also have a property, and it should be marked as a header. And we can also do some colors as well. So let's just put a color in there. Save that. Ooh, not particularly nice color, but should work. And again, choose a color for this. So we had that originally, and let's choose gray. So I didn't have to jump up to the toolbar, search for the icon. It was all there contextually where I was working. Right, images 3 ways. This is a Brian said, an improved in Joomla 4 and a new in Joomla 4 option. Some of you will know some of these, some of you will not know any of them. First option, use the TinyMCE icon for an image. This has been improved, but you still need to actually know the full path. So most people are never going to use that one. We've got the image editor plugin, and this opens up the brand new image manager. And I'm going to select my image and give it its description or alt text and insert that. That's cool. And there is a third way. So let's just delete that so we can see. And the third way is simply to drag and drop your image in. Give it your description. And there it is. Now that image has been uploaded to your website as well. And by default, it's stored in the images folder. But you can, if you want, change the default location for that. Mark Zuckerberg. What can I say about Mark? Well, he says by giving people the power to share, we're making the world more transparent. If making the world more transparent means releasing all my data to anybody who wants, then yes, I guess he is. But in terms of our websites, what we're really talking about is social media sharing. This is a Brian said, because this is something you can do in Joomla 3 as well as in Joomla 4. But here I've got my article, a very simple article on my test site, and I want to add a Facebook share and a Twitter share button. So before I do that, let's just have a look at this page. It's not much on it, but you can see it's loading under 1 second, 939 milliseconds. It's 144K and there's 18 page requests. Now, before anyone says anything, at the moment on this test site, there is no caching turned on whatsoever. So it's just pure out of the box. So go off to the JED and grab one of the hundreds of plugins or modules or whatever you want that will do this. So this is true for all of them. So I'm not going to say which one I use, but all I can say is that it's advertised as being fast and without losing performance. So once I've enabled that, look what it did to the page size. 519K. It's 2.6 seconds to load, and there's 36 page requests. And look at all these requests that are taking place. This is what's slowing it all down, but they're all going to Facebook and to Twitter. Well, why? What are they doing? Because I've just put a button on the site. So why is it going to Facebook and Twitter? And what's it doing when it goes there? So is it actually tracking you while you visit my site just because I put a link there, not because you clicked on it? I don't know, but something to think about. So, as I said, it's just a link. We can fix this. We don't need an extension. We don't need any JavaScript. We don't need to do anything but create a link. It's going to be maintenance free, zero cost, super simple. So this is the code. Now, there's a link here to t.mn/social, which is where you'll find the code. But that's all it is. Very simple. 2 links going to special URLs. So you can see this first one is going to Facebook, special share a link, and then it's putting the URL of the current page into that. So just to show you how to do that, in the template manager for your template, you're going to need to create an override for your articles. Go to content and article, and you can see it's created it now. So just go in to it and edit it and put it where you want the links to appear. So I want them just above the text, which is down here. and paste that in. And if I save that, all right, now there's something new here. It's just a bit off the screen. It's called hide and show differences. When I set it to show, it's going to show the difference between the original and the override. And there it is. So you're not losing stuff. It's really easy to find what it was that you changed. And there's also, whenever you do an update to Joomla, or to an extension actually, that where you've created an override, it will tell you on the updates there are some files that you've overridden that have changed. So you probably want to check, make sure that your overrides are still valid. I wrote about the danger of overrides back in Joomla 1.5, especially when it comes to security, that there could be fixes in an override, in a layout, that you never apply to your own site because you're overriding it and you didn't know that that's what was happening. And there we are. You can see we've now got the Facebook button and the Twitter button with the nice icons. So how big of a page load is this? What's it done to the page? Okay, so just to remember, 2.6 seconds, 519K, 36 page requests. And this is with the links. Only fractionally more than the original without anything. And the reason for actually it being the increase is because I'm loading those two icons, which are part of a font that's been loaded additionally, because the font awesome icons have been split into two separate ones. So I could get it down to almost no change whatsoever if I just drop those icons. And if you click share, click on the link, it's going to open the share page that you're familiar with, and it's going to look like that. Now, Facebook does it all. I haven't put any meta tags in or anything. Facebook makes a really good guess at doing it. But what happened to the image? There's no image there. And I want an image, and I want branding, and I want it to really stand out, especially on Facebook, because let's face it, this stuff goes past your feed so quickly you just never see it. So again, small bit of code. You can find it at this link, and all it's doing is it's going to set up all the OG variables which Facebook uses. And the really clever bit of this comes at the very end in this bit here. What does it do? Well, what it's doing is that I'm using a service from Cloudanry. Cloudanry is, amongst other things, an image processing website. And what it lets me do, what that URL lets me do is on Cloudanry, I've created this image you can see on the screen, which is my branded JoomlaDay USA template, let's call it. And that link, in that code that I generate, I'm sending to Cloudanry to say, use this image that you've got stored on your server and insert the article title. That's what it's going to look like. It's dynamic, automatically. Now, it's zero maintenance. Once you've set it up, that's it. You can forget about it. You add new pages to your site. If someone goes to share it on Facebook, they're going to get that nice title. And of course, you can also just update all the templates at any time you want. That's just a starter. There's so much more you can do with that. I've written here at zero cost, and someone's going to say Cloudanry isn't free. Well, you get a certain number of images and transactions and transformations free. I've been running this now for 9 months on a site with 5,000 pages, and so far I've used 0.1% of my free space, my free transformations. So to all intents and purposes, it is free. And moving on, the easier that you make content authoring, the more often that people will write. If it's a chore, if it's a, oh no, I've got to write this on the website, they put it off, they wait. That's no good. They need to do it properly. So couple of different things. This is a Brian said, and this is the first real extension that we're going to use. It's one that I've written. It's about 6 lines of code in reality, but it has to be a plugin, so I had to do it as an extension. So what's the problem? I'm going to log in on the front end of my site, and I'm going to click on the edit to edit the article, and there it is. Now it's not too bad on this sample page, but you can still see it's still surrounded by lots of clutter. Yeah, lots of modules. Now I don't know if Owen's in the room right now, but this is based on something that he made a request for. So let me just cancel out of that. So now what I'm going to do is install the plugin. So we can go to the system menu and to the extensions install. That's wrong link. Always doing that. Go back. Extensions install. And go to the JED and search for clean edit. There's a bug in the JED right now showing Joomla 4 things. So I'll just say all Joomla versions. There it is, clean edit. It's brand new, so you can see I only added it 2 weeks ago. And click install. And then we just need to go to the plugin and enable it. That's it. Let's go back to the front end of the site. And now when we click on edit, it's loaded up the entire page. It's a little bit hard to see probably because you're missing part of the screen, but the edit page is now full screen. Yeah, it's completely full the screen. There's nothing else on there from your website. You've just got your content. So it's not surrounded by fluff. It's not surrounded by distractions, and you can just go and create your content. Super simple, and not run into the same problem that we had with the login box with these clicking on buttons and not seeing what happens. And of course, that when you click save, it automatically returns you to the page. Now, I think this could well be the last one that I've got before I take questions. So this one I'm calling My Edit. And you may remember that, first of all, no, sorry, I'm getting confused. Right. We created a My Articles module for the admin. We can do the same thing for your authors on the front end of your site. Okay, this time it's a site module. I'm going to set it to 10 articles, and again set it to added by me, which of course is added by the user. Now I'm going to put it in a position called custom 1, which doesn't exist, so I'll just type it in, and that now exists. Cool. So we can just go save and close. Right, now let's create an article, a new one, and we're going to call this My Articles. Let's be really original. And what we're going to do now is we're going to insert a module. So click CMS content, go down, click modules. There's all your modules. We'll just do a quick filter, My Articles. There it is, insert. Okay, that's looking good. What else do we want on here? Let's save it first. Now that we've saved it, I'll need a menu item for this. So, save to menus appeared. That wasn't there before. It only appears once you've saved your content. So save to menu. Click on that, and we can see we're now in the menu editor, and it's already filled in the title based on the articles. I'm going to keep that. I'm just going to change the alias though, because I'm just going to make this really short and call it My. And what else shall I do? Let's make this a secret. So we go to the link type, and we're going to hide it from the menu. Right, how we do? Right, save and close that. Let's see what happens. So if I now go to the URL /my, there we have, and you can see there's the list of the latest articles created by me. But we can do better than that, because it's not necessarily that informative. It would be nice if we could see the categories. And what about a link to create new articles as well? So let's do that. Let's go back to my site. Let's go back into that article. And as well as inserting the module, let's just put a bit of space. Oh, we'll make it look nice. Let's put menu items. So where is it? Well, it already exists on this site, so I don't need to create a new one. I can just link to it. Create a post. Could rename that, really. Create a new article. I think that's better. And we could put some instructions there for people. We can put whatever we want. I'm just going to make that a heading. Yeah. Okay, let's save that and let's take a look. Okay, it's better. It's still not great, but you can see the point. But I still could do with some more information on the article, especially if you've got multiple articles with the same name in different categories. So we can fix that as well with an override. Again, go to your templates. Why am I going to modules? That's why. There's no option here to do anything else, but I can create an override to do it. So go to my template code, go create an override for its articles latest. Okay, that's now created. So now we can open that file. Now, because I prepared this earlier, I happen to know that if I echo out the category title, it will work. So all I have to do is let's put some brackets there and let's go PHP echo $item category title. Okay, and let's close the PHP and just hit save and close. And that should work. Again, you can remember, you can see the differences now by clicking show difference. There it is. Shows you the line that's been removed and the line that's been added. Right, refresh. Oh, whoops, what's happened? Syntax error, unexpected brackets. That's me doing things in a rush. So just go in, let's look at the layout. Ah, yes, I've got an extra bracket in there. So I just remove that, save and close. That should solve it. Yeah, solved it. So now you can see the article name and the category it's in. And you've made a special page just for your authors so they can just see the articles that they're working on. If you've got a site with thousands of articles and 100 authors, for them to find their own content, it's going to be a nightmare. This little thing just makes it so much easier. And that was the last one. It's got one more thing. Joomla 4 is nearly here. I feel like I've been saying that for a very long time, but I really do believe it is very, very near to a release candidate, which will mean that we're not far away from an actual release. Hopefully, I've shown you plenty of stuff that should actually get you excited about using Joomla 4, because the potentials there are incredible. And the speed of Joomla 4 is incredible. With that, I'm going to say thank you very much. And just to point out, if you haven't already seen, starting very, very soon, will be a website, learnjoomla4.com, which is completely free video training course, how to build a website